Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome to Crypto Trading with CryptoTrader and CryptoTraders Room. And that's a place where we eat, drink, sleep, dream, trade, and invest in digital currencies. And if you're a new-time viewer, welcome. And thank you for finding us. It's a pleasure to have you. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button as well as the post notification. And sign up for our mailing list. And you can do that by going to CryptoTradersRoom.com. And there are links at the bottom of this video. And stay connected on YouTube, of course, Steam it, Twitter, as well as Facebook. And when you do sign up for our mailing list, that'll be filling out a questionnaire for our general chat room. And I highly recommend filling that out if you wanted to be a part of our Slack chat room that we have going on. The Warpler, good morning. Matthew, GST. Warpler's always first. Andreas, welcome. Hope everybody's doing well. Sorry about not being able to do a live stream yesterday, but of course, I had to make up for it. So today's a makeup day. So what is going on in this cryptocurrency market? Of course, this past weekend, which I thought we would have somewhat of an unstable type of market, with all the FUD that's being spread and all the craziness and the panic selling, the fear that was setting in with a lot of people with the uncertainty. But it held up pretty well. It really did. Making it right back up, especially with BTC, right up to 4,000, which is pretty impressive, considering it touched below 3,000, 2980, 2975. So for it to be up to the level that is currently at 4,000, that's pretty impressive. And I'm glad to see it up in this level and kind of shake off, what China's throwing at it. And China has been throwing a lot at it, ever since a long time ago, banning Bitcoin and then, not banning it and then banning the ICOs. So, any bad news that is going to come out of China or really any other country, that we need the mass adoption of cryptocurrency and acceptance of cryptocurrencies, that's going to throw a wrench in this really nice upward move that we are having, a nice trend. Yes, it is having little dips here and there, but, that's expected with profit taken. You got to expect that. But the overall trend is still holding up pretty well. But like I said, any type of bad news that does come out could send some people to panic and to start selling. Now, will it get back to that 29.75 under 3,000? I don't know. That might have been kind of a lucky drop. If anybody caught it, that might have been the low there. I don't think we're going to see another low. If it does, I don't see this thing really getting below 3,500. If it does, and if, for it to get down below 3,500 and to get down below that $3,000 range that it touched, there has to be a lot of bad news that's going to be coming out of China and some other countries as well too. So we'll see. Only time will tell. But right now, it is stable, waiting for some sort of direction to happen, and we'll see. Marianne, good morning. Welcome, Potters. I know it's not morning for some of you guys. It might be the evening. Logan's Run, welcome, buddy. It's been a long time. Hope you're doing well. You bought the dip at 3,000, dude. That's awesome. You caught the bottom. You caught the bottom. And that's what I asked on the last live stream to see if anybody caught that bottom. And yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I almost put in almost caught the bottom, almost. But some of you guys got very close to it. I panicked and kind of canceled the order that I had, but it would have been a nice execution. But with all this fear and uncertainty, it caused me to kind of cancel that order that I had in the book. $100 for LTC, dude. It all depends what's going to happen with China. It really does, and all this uncertainty that's happening. It basically almost got up to $100. It touched 98 something, 98.80, 98.50, whatever it was. That's basically $100 for me for it to touch. But it has the ability to get there. Now we know where the resistance is. Where before we didn't know where the resistance is. So it's got a couple of barriers that it does have to break in order to get up there. But it's holding strong. It's not in the 40s, or it's not under 40. So for it to be in the 55, it only needs just some really good news to come out before it gets right back up to that $100. Vince Vegas, welcome. Good morning. But yeah, let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at Litecoin, Ethereum, and then maybe some other cryptocurrencies if time permits for us to take a look at. But let's go ahead and zoom out of this and see exactly where Bitcoin has really been. So let's go ahead and zoom out to maybe, I don't know, let's see 3-hour chart, how that looks. So that, 29.80, I think it was 29.75, depending on what exchange you're looking at. Really, if we look at this high here, before it had a nice correction. And this was a nice correction, you know, from basically 3,000 all the way down to, you know, 1850, 1830-ish. That was a nice correction that we did have. And that was probably the last, you know, major correction aside from the one that we're currently in right now. But ever since it touched, you know, below 2,000, it's been nothing but a move to the upside, and very steep move, you know, too fast, too quick. You know, that's kind of the way I look at with a lot of these cryptocurrencies. They're just going up way too fast. Great opportunity, you know, to be able to lock in some profits, especially if you're able to catch the bottom and then be able to catch the top somehow, some way before the dip. But, you know, that 3,000 was a key level because there was a couple points that was the prior resistance. And we always talk about, you know, majority of the time, prior resistance becomes current support. And that's where it was basically supported because of this prior resistance, where it was a couple different points right over here, as well as over here, that had a hard time breaking out. It just kept on breaking down from that $3,000 level, had a very hard time breaking out. And eventually, once it did break out above that 3, you know, 5,000 was basically in sight for it. But, you know, this is a bad correction. I mean, it's a huge correction from 5,000 to 3,000, a little below 3,000. You know, so we're looking at a 40% correction. Now, it didn't get to that 61.8 Fibonacci retracement, you know, where it would retrace 61%, 61.8% from, you know, wherever level you would set it to. You know, that level, from what I looked at it a while ago, was right around the 2,200 range, $2,200-$2,300 range was the 61.8 retracement. If you look at the overall chart, you know, from the 5,000 and bring it all the way down to, I think it was like the 1,000 that I brought it down to. So we'll see if it gets to that level. You know, it's not going to be anytime soon, especially with the news kind of subsiding out of China and nothing crazy that's happening. But right now, you know, this is a healthy move that we're seeing, you know, and it's maintaining that. It's not having crazy violent dips where people are just continuously taking profits and panic selling when they do have a little bit of a profit. People are holding on, especially Logan catching at 3,000. I mean, you're good, man. 33%. You're up. So that's pretty good. Bring on the good news. Yeah, I agree. I agree. We need some good news to come out of China or some of these other countries. And, you know, with the 2 exchanges really having until the 30th to kind of shut down the operation, hopefully something will change before the 30th. I mean, you know, that's not too far away. It's only 12 days away. But hopefully they're working with regulators. And there's a reason why I'm assuming that those 2 are able to still operate and given an extension. You know, China wants to control Bitcoin. They want to control cryptocurrency, you know, and without that control, and I think they were losing control. But what are they going to do if they're losing control? They're going to ban it and then come up with a solution to really heavily scrutinize, you know, and heavily regulated and really, you know, monitor these exchanges and how they're operating. BTC doesn't look too good. I think it's looking good right now, man. As long as it maintains this $4,000 level, and I do have, you know, the red is basically the main support where it bounced off that 3,000, a little under 3,000, and then the 4,000 is going to be a key level for it to maintain. As long as it maintains above 4,000, you know, it's still healthy. It is still healthy. Now, when you say the wedge, I don't know what time frame you're looking at, but no, especially on the 3-hour chart, I don't really see a wedge yet, unless you're looking at a very small time frame. But no, this is still healthy. It's still uptrending, even though we are having, you know, little dips here and there. These are only little tiny dips, nothing to be concerned about, unless something really bad comes out of China. And then once that news really breaks, that's when we'll probably see a good amount of panic selling, or if it's good news, a crazy parabolic move. So really only time will tell what direction this is going to take. But I can see it being stuck in this range for a while, trying to find direction and trying to find some sort of positive news or negative news that's going to cause a sell-off. LTC. I mean, this one has done very well. If anybody caught the 48, you know, I had 45 is really what I was looking for. And that's kind of where I had an order in, waiting for that 61.8 Fibonacci retracement. And that's just basically going from the high of 62.69 to the low that it recently set of 33.56, which is just a violent drop and a crazy rise too. I mean, this is just, it's way too fast, way too quick. And I'm glad this thing hasn't really broken down below 45 and really stuck, between the 45 and the 40s. That would be very bearish for me to look at. But, this is really maintaining a healthy trend, between the 48 and the 58. I mean, that's a $10 difference there that it could trend with an X period of time for a while before we even find some sort of direction. But, in my opinion, I think panic selling will set in at some point where I'm still waiting for that 45. That 61.8 retracement. I'm still waiting for it. Now, if she does dip under 50, I'll add a little bit of a position, but majority of the position, I think, will be added at that 45. I think she'll have a good support at that level. Not saying that she'll get there, but if she does, that's kind of what I'm waiting for. But to get into LTC, anything under $50, I think you'll be sitting well, especially if you're just playing the trend, from the 50 to the 58. Because really that is a trend that she's playing until she can give us some sort of clear confirmation of a breakout, breaking out above that 58, breaking out above that 60, and maintaining that 60. Then yeah, that $100 could easily be in sight very quickly. Yeah, Vince, go ahead and post that on there. I'm not currently on Slack right now. I have too many things open, but yeah, I'll go ahead and check that out. But yeah, anybody take advantage of this 48? Because really that was, if you were really looking at this, and this past weekend, to be honest with you guys, I was not in front of my computer looking at these cryptocurrencies. It would have probably caused me to have panic and sold my Ether. So I was kind of away from the computer, but I had those lowball offers in, hoping that they would hit, and that 45 was a lowball offer. But if I was really in front of my computer, I would have probably put in a little bit of an offer at that $48 level, because 48 was a prior support where it really went up to from 33 to 64 or 62. And when she came back down and retraced, she retraced to that $48 level. So 48 would have been, a great position to add something small, because when she did retrace, she retraced to a little bit under 48, 47.87 was a retracement for it. But ever since then, it's been doing very well. So if you were scalping this thing, within a certain range of 48 to 58, I mean, those are great ranges to be playing. So 55, 55, 56 is a level that I would be really paying attention to see if she gets up there and maintains that level. As long as she's not breaking down from this level to the 50, this is still a healthy move. It had a nice trend going at one point. Right over here, it broke that trend, formed a new trend, which actually started forming newer highs from this level here. But it completely broke down that trend as well too. And I thought she would get down to 50 here, but 51.38 was the low that she touched here. So there is a possibility that this thing could touch 50. You just got to be prepared for it. Either have an order in the book or be sitting there watching it. And to be honest with you, to sit there and watch it might be mentally draining sometimes. Let's see, Litecoin. I'm sorry, not Litecoin. Ether. Ether. What has Ether been doing? I mean, if we really look at all these cryptocurrencies, they're all going to have, the same trend. So currently, that's a resistance there. That 300 is a resistance, and she might have a hard time breaking out unless there's good news coming out of the development team. But in order for this thing to break 300, she's got to get above this range here. That's the range that I would plot out to see, if this is going to be bullish and really have a nice move, she needs to get above that level, break the 300, and that 319 is still going to be, or 320 is still going to be a resistance for it. That was a resistance in the past, and in the future, it's still going to be a resistance. So let's go ahead and zoom out of this. So if it breaks out above the 320, 319, that's going to give you a clear confirmation that it's on a bullish trend, and it could have a nice parabolic move with positive news coming out. Looks like I got to get to maybe a 12-hour chart. So that 320 is going to be right around, which isn't too far off. I mean, it's not too far off from that 320, but she's got to have a clear indication of a breakout above that range, above that resistance. I mean, if she just gets to it close and just kind of hovers, then there's a possibility that, you know what, there is no support to break out above that 320. More likely than it's going to break down. So first level she's got to cross is at 300. Second level is at 320. After that, really, you know, she's not going to have much of a resistance until she breaks 350-ish. 350 will have a little bit of resistance. And then, I mean, if she can get to that 395 and break out with a vengeance, 412, you know, 420 is in sight. She has the ability to do it. But with all this crazy news, you know, that could definitely hamper the upward momentum move for it. But, you know, in my honest opinion, you know, this cryptocurrency market is just completely shaken off what China's throwing at it. And China's been throwing a lot of things at it. And I don't think there is really anything that's going to keep Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin down. I mean, other cryptocurrencies, yes, you know, they might take a bigger hit, but the most popular ones, you know, they're shaking off anything that China's throwing at it. And this is great news. I mean, this is great that the price action, you know, is not being dictated by China. You know, so this really tells us, you know, as time goes on, you know, China's going to slowly but surely lose, you know, lose what it could really be involved in. And the price action is definitely not representing of what China wants Bitcoin or cryptocurrency to do. But let's take a look at, you know, major market cap and see exactly where everything is at. I gotta refresh this because I haven't refreshed it in a while. 136 is what it's currently showing, but it's probably up a little higher than that. So 136.6 billion dollars, which isn't too bad. You know, we're not under 100 billion market cap with all this crazy news that's coming out. So it's completely shaken off what China's throwing at it. We had top three: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. Those are the top three. Take Ripple out of there, and then you got Litecoin and Dash, which would definitely make a nice little portfolio, in my honest opinion, if you had, you know, a little bit of money and kind of spread them out between those five. Let's see, Logan invested a small position into BitShares, decentralized exchange, thinking the Chinese may use it, and also think it might not be a bad buying opportunity. You know, I haven't looked at BitShares, but, you know, we'll go ahead into Bittrex and take a look at some of the cryptocurrencies that you guys might be interested in having me take a look at. But yeah, that's really going to be, you know, what's going to set cryptocurrency apart, you know, from government control and government scrutiny is these decentralized exchanges. So, you know, the faster that they could, you know, form these decentralized exchanges, you know, the better off that cryptocurrency is going to be. And we won't be seeing these crazy violent dips. I think last time I looked at this, it was just taking a beating on the overall one-day chart. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I mean, you know, this isn't a bad opportunity to get in. I mean, it's as long as it flatlines. So Logan, I mean, you know, you might have found the bottom. It's kind of hard to say because we haven't really seen a flat line of any sense. You know, but it is maintaining so far. I mean, but it's crashed heavily. I mean, we got to realize that it's crashed heavily. It's really basically come down 100%. You know, from the move that it made from this support line that I've drawn out, 100% retracement. that's huge. So really, nobody really cared about supporting this thing at any of the Fibonacci retracements. Especially if you're looking at the overall chart and not really getting granular on the 30 minutes or 15 minutes. So not 100% yet if you really take this down to the 300 Satoshi range. But close to it. So, I mean, this has been beat up. And, this might be a long-term hold if you end up buying this. I mean, don't expect to buy this and have this thing get right back up to its all-time high. I don't think it will right away. Unless something really positive, the fundamentals change on BTS. If they don't, then I mean, this thing could still grind. But if there's a lot of people out there that are thinking the same thought that you have, Logan, then this thing could get a nice bounce up to the upside. But yeah, I mean, anything that's been beat down for so long, it's not a bad long-term hold. Just you gotta get in it thinking long-term hold and not short-term at all. Yeah, this isn't a short-term hold. Unless it just goes parabolic very quickly. But more than likely, it'll just stabilize and flatline until decentralized exchanges become the thing and people start really utilizing them. But yeah, I like seeing things that have just completely broken down and flatlined. For long-term investment, they're not a bad idea. I mean, even on a 3-week chart, wow. So, I mean, I don't know what caused it to go up, but yeah, I mean, whatever caused it to go up was not sustained whatsoever. So hopefully nobody bought this at the top, because yeah, I hate to see people buy, something at the top thinking it has a very great move. And it really did, for weeks and weeks. I mean, these are 3-week candlesticks that we're looking at, 3 weeks worth of price action. And yeah, it's a crazy move. But yeah, it came right back down. So, fundamentally, nothing has really changed. If fundamentally things have changed, then yeah, this thing would probably be, above the 10,000 Satoshi range and just kind of hovering in that range, trying to wait for direction. Holding long term, Logan. Yeah, dude. I mean, definitely. You know what? I'm going to heavily consider BTS. Probably give it maybe a week or so to see exactly, how she reacts to the price action. If she just flatlines, and if she does, yeah, I wouldn't mind throwing $100 at it for long term. Let's see, Potters. I should use Bittrex Enhancer Chrome extension. I'll definitely have to look into that. I didn't know they changed this chart to Trading View when you use that. That's pretty cool. Good to know. Yeah, and I mean, even on the chart that I'm using, they do show the USD value, which and that's one thing I do like about Bittrex, considering everything is mainly in BTC value that they do show. I mean, really any cryptocurrency you look at next to the volume, they do show exactly, or the 24-hour high, 24-hour low, the asking price or the last price. They do show it in USD value, which definitely comes in handy. Vince, all the coins that are traded on margin move very slow. I did not think about that at all. Yeah, I haven't been able to trade on margin, so I haven't really been looking at margin trading. I would love to, just a little bit, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So let's see what has really been getting beat down in the sense of just today. Darkness, good morning or good afternoon, depending where you are. Rub-a-dub-dub. Thanks for the grub. SkyTech, good morning, buddy. Maximus Blue 2. Yeah, I'll look into the Chrome extension. IOP was a coordinated pump. Let's see, probably. That's why I don't really trust a lot of these coins, to be honest with you. You know, a lot of them, Internet of People. Yeah, I don't trust a lot of these coins at all. They get pumped and then they get dumped like crazy. Yeah, I'd rather stick to what I know. Yeah, it's definitely being pumped right now. You know, whether this is on news. So I don't know. Is there any news on IOP in order to cause this type of move? I mean, we're basically looking at, let's see, 100. I'm sorry, 14,000 to 73,000. I mean, that's crazy. That's a crazy move there. Orca, welcome. Violet, welcome. Thank you guys for joining. I do appreciate it. ETC, ETC. Let's go ahead and take a look at ETC. Yeah, I mean, they just had their on the 14th and 15th. They had the summit in Hong Kong. So I don't think anything positive came out of that. Yeah, found support at that previous high before it actually went parabolic. I mean, that's, you know, and a lot of these cryptocurrencies, I mean, if you look at the one-day chart, you know, you'll see that, you know, the previous peak that they had actually made, you know, in the sense of this peak here, that's really where they're coming down to, which would probably put it right in the range of the 50% retracement. Yeah, rub a dub dub. I mean, yeah, if anybody's part of any pump and dump groups, yeah, definitely let us know. You know, because the last thing we want is for anybody to be trapped in any of these pump and dumps, especially when you least expect it. Now, if you're already in the trade, that's great, you know, because yeah, it's working out to your advantage to be able to get out at a profit. But yeah, I mean, you know, if they're pumping something, don't get involved in it, because more than likely, you know, unless you're going to be in and out within a couple seconds, they're going to end up taking your money. So, I mean, you know, every cryptocurrency right now has stabilized. It's looking pretty good at the current moment, you know, and that's always the magic word. It's, you know, at the current moment, we're looking very stable. But, you know, there is going to be another dip, you know, whether it's going to happen, you know, on September 30th with the other two exchanges on the outcome of them shutting down, or whether they're going to stay open and just be, you know, heavily regulated and have the PBOC and the government of China at their doorstep. I mean, if that is the case, you know, and if they're allowed to still operate under heavy scrutiny, then, you know, we will have a nice move. But if they decide to completely shut it down and really start attacking other things, then, you know, we are going to have another sell-off. But I don't think we're going to see the bottom, you know, the bottom that it had already set. You know, I think, you know, if anybody didn't catch that bottom, they definitely missed out. I didn't catch any of this bottom. But I think it's kind of too late to actually wait for this bottom. I don't think it's going to happen. You know, if we could have a retracement, you know, we're going to have a retracement to the current low, you know, that she has set after really having a nice bounce back up. And this current low on ETC is, you know, right over $10, like $10.25. You know, a little over $10 is, if we do get a retracement, that's going to be the retracement. So if you want to be patient and wait, then that's an area that I would wait for. Yeah, rub a dub dub. It's not a bad idea to join those pump and dumps just to be able to avoid them. It's really not at all. It's a pump which they call hodl. Yeah, if anybody's telling you to hold, you know, part of a group, if they're telling you to hold something, more than likely they have a vested interest, and that's why they're telling you to hold. Yeah, Rubber Dub Dub. It's a good thing that you mentioned that. Pump groups use news events to try and mask their pumps. Yes, and I've seen a lot of times where they will recirculate news, whether it's good news or bad news, to get it to move in their direction. And if it's circulated to so many people and all they're doing is reading the headlines and not really digging deep into it as to, well, this came out like 7, 8 months ago. Why is this being circulated now? But people are not reading that at all. They're just kind of reading the headlines and causing a domino effect of a sell-off. But yeah, $10, 10.50-ish, that's kind of the level that looks good for me. If we do have a retracement, that's really the area of retracement that we should see. And same thing with LTC as well too. If it does retrace, it's going to be that retracement to $48. At $48, it's a good idea to maybe take a little bit of a position. But that $45, 61.8 retracement, just for me, it looks good. And that's where I would be looking to add more of a position. But at that $48, I will probably add 20 or 25, very small position. But yeah, if you want to be patient with any of these cryptocurrencies, just take a look at the current low that they have set within the trend, and that's kind of what I would wait for to see if and when it does retest those levels. And it has retested those levels twice on LTC. Let me see on ATC if it retested it twice. Not quite, because the high was really here and it retested the low right here. So that low that it really retested was 10.50, but this one broke through it. So anywhere between 10.50 and 10.25 would be a range that I would be looking at to get in. BCH is popping. Let me look at my other chart. OMG still hovering in that $10 range, which I'm very surprised that this thing is not in the 12 yet. Let's see, margin trading has been enabled on XRP USD, XRP BTC, NEO USD, NEO BTC. All right, so they're, as well as in SAN. So that's why maybe SAN had this nice push up and is still maintaining it. Margin. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't see that this morning. A good position to add F. Oh man. Let's see what they retrace to. This is the 1 day. Let's get out of the 1 day, 30 minutes. You know, 270 would be the first area of retracement that I would kind of see. Let me get rid of everything else that's here. I mean, if you wanted to, and really, guys, I mean, this really depends on news. So, you know, I mean, when we're looking at these possible retracements of where they could possibly retrace to, it really depends on the fundamental, as well as, you know, any type of news that's going to be coming out, whether it's positive or negative. That's, of course, that causes the price action to move. But, you know, if I was going to be patient with this, it would have to be the 250 to 240 range. That's really the range that I would be somewhat patient for and wait to see if it does get to that level. And with any news that comes out of China, you know, it's going to cause some sort of panic selling if it's bad news. And those are the levels that now if it breaks through them, it's going to break through them. You know, if it breaks through it could test, you know, close to the $200 range. But, you know, the 250, 240, I would say is kind of a safe bet. because then if it does get right back up to that $300 range and you get in at 250, that's a $50 increase if you're not looking to hold that long term. But yeah, 250, 240-ish is kind of the level that I would kind of wait for. BCH, who was saying BCH was moving? On the BTC side, I think it was. And that's if my computer cooperates with me or Bitfinex cooperates. BCH, BTC, that's only up 1.95%. I mean, it's not up too much. You know, for it to be popping, especially on Bitfinex. Now, it could be moving on a different exchange. That's definitely a possibility. Do I think BTC will fall below 3,800? I mean, it's not far from 3,800 now. Now, if you ask me if it's going to fall below 3,000, I would probably say, you know, probably not, you know, and not with any bad news that's going to be coming out. It could easily get to that, you know, 3,850, 3,830 level, because that was really the low that it touched. It could retest those levels again. And that's always the magic word, it could. So, I mean, if you're going to put in, you know, some offers to buy, you want to look at the key areas of support and maybe stagnate your order based on that. So 3,800, yes, I think it could definitely get to 3,800 from the current level that it's at. I don't know if I would buy at that level though. You know, I would want to wait to make sure that this news out of China is going to die down. 3,800 though is pretty aggressive to buy it at that range, considering she's at 3,970 now. She could easily get to that level. But the level I'm waiting to see if she's going to retest is that 3,500. 3,500 will be possibly a retest level. And that all depends on China. I mean, you know, nothing has been, you know, they haven't really come out and made crazy statements yet. But yeah, 3,800 is very attainable. But yeah, that resistance right now, though, currently right now, is going to be the basically 4120. So we'll see if she stays within this channel or she breaks down and starts retesting other channels. And if she does, you know, sometimes, you know, especially on the 30-minute chart, you know, she could easily retest this 200-day moving average, and that 200-day moving average is at right at 3765. So that's why I said that 3,800 is very attainable, because sometimes they do like to come in and test those moving averages and bounce right back up. Yeah, rub-a-dub-dub. If you're watching it on a different exchange, yeah, I might not be able to see it. Remember, every exchange is going to have its own volume, its own volatility, its own price action movement. The trend will look the same, you know, if you're looking at the overall trend of the chart, especially on the 1 day. But the price action, the actual price is going to vary. Let's see, Violet. Thanks for the analysis. Not a problem. Anytime. And then, yeah, there's never a such thing as a knob question. What's the difference between amount and total in Bittrex order book? I can't seem to find a clear-cut answer. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Where's my Bittrex? All right, so you're asking about, let's see, the amount and total. All right, so this is, of course, on the green side is the buy side and the red is the sell side. I'm sure you guys know that already. So basically, you know, we have the count, so which tells us exactly, you know what, how many buyers are lined up at that very specific price to buy X amount. Now we have 2 buyers. The amount is basically the total amount. Let's see, I'm sorry. The amount is how much wants to be bought at that specific price. So at the $479.34, and we're looking at BCH on this chart here. At 479.34, there are a total of 20.43 coins that want to be bought. So the total, of course, is going to be 20.6. The total is not going to change on that first order in the book. But now if we look down a little bit and go down to the next order, we have 0.17, one person, and that's going to change the total. So the total is going to be the total amount, including basically, the 242, 94.64, 0.37. So if you add those up, that's going to give you the total price. But the amount is just the exact amount that's looking to be bought at that very specific price. So we have 479.50 or 49. There's 94.64 coins that want to be bought at that specific price. The next order is 50 cents or half a coin, 50 cents, a half a coin, and that basically gets added onto the total. So that the amount will always be added onto the total. So this kind of gives you a clear indication that, if you're just looking at the top 15 orders in the book, it gives you a clear indication if there's more buyers or sellers that are stacked up. So if we're just looking at this top 15 or top 20, whatever it is, we have a total of 454 or 446 coins that are looking to be sold, and we have a total of 134 coins that are looking to be bought. And that changes, of course, with people putting their orders in and taking their orders off the book. So the amount, just easy way to remember, amount is the exact amount that wants to be bought at that specific price. The total is going to be the total amount because they're adding, each increments, each line, each buyer and seller. So hopefully that was a clear answer for you, Violet. But yeah, I always look at the total just to kind of give me an idea. Okay, what, between these 15 buyers and sellers, these are how many stacked up on the sell side. These are how many stacked up on the buy side. Yeah, I for some apparent reason, like I said, Orca, it all depends on the news. It all depends on the news. And if the news that comes out of China or really any other country is bad, then yeah, it could easily retest that 3,500 easily. But until there's some sort of clear indication of bad news that's going to be coming out or FUD that's going to be spread, I don't think we'll see any panic selling. That the FUD has to be spread. The bad news has to come out, or it has to be leaked out somehow, some way, for it to touch that 3,500. But yeah, you really got to pay attention to the news that's coming out these days, and to determine whether we're going to have a nice upward momentum move to the upside, or if she's going to completely break down key levels of support. Rubber dub, not a problem, man. Not a problem. Yeah, and with BCC, now when you say BCC, are you talking about Bitcoin Core, or are you just saying Bitcoin Cash and then BCH for as well as for Bitcoin Cash? I hope you're not talking about Bitcoin Core, because the only problem that I see with trading Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin Unlimited is the amount of volume. The volume is not much at all. So on BCC, the volume is under 1. There's definitely volume, but it's under 1. So it's going to show 0 until the volume is actually 1. On BCU, the volume is 9. So yeah, anybody can probably go in and buy, especially if they got like $5 grand to spend, they could buy 10 of the BCU for 420 bucks a coin. But the problem is going to be that you're not going to be able to sell everything at once. You're going to have to start really selling in increments. You'd be lucky if you sell in increments of 1. Yeah, it'll take you forever to get out of that position. So hopefully you weren't referring to BCC as in the sense of Bitcoin Core. Violet, you got it? Awesome. Sweet. Yeah, that could be confusing. The first time I looked at this, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'm like, they're telling me exactly the total amount, which a lot of exchanges don't, especially GDAX. GDAX is probably horrible. It just tells you exactly how many buyers, or it doesn't tell you how many buyers and sellers, it just tells you the total amount that wants to be bought at a very specific price. And that's really all that it tells you. So it doesn't really give you that much data, but Bitfinex, I do like it because especially to be able to tell exactly how many buyers and sellers are lined up. Now, they could be fake, they could be real, who knows, but at least you have an idea. And if somebody, like I've said before, is putting up a very large buy or sell order, more than likely, they shouldn't be showing their hands. I wouldn't be showing my hands if I was looking to buy, tons of a certain coin, or if I was looking to sell a lot of a certain coin. I wouldn't want anybody to notice that sell or that buy order. So I would hide it. So you want to be definitely very careful of that. But yeah, for them to be able to show you the total amount of buyers or sellers, and then the total amount of coins at a very specific price, I mean, I do like that feature. Yeah, it is listed as BCC. So yeah, and be very careful that, if you do come onto Bittrex, that you don't buy BCC on Bittrex, because it's not Bitcoin Core, or it's not Bitcoin Cash. I mean, it can confuse a lot of people, and I'm sure it has. I've seen, and for some apparent reason, for Bitcoin Core, they don't show the chart. But I mean, if you download the app, I have an iPhone. I'm sure they have an Android app for it as well too. If you download the app, so on my iPhone, when I look at the chart for BCC, it shows that it went up to $6,800 within a matter of a couple seconds. So was that a mistake that somebody made, thinking they're buying Bitcoin Cash, and they bought BCC, Bitcoin Core, instead? But yeah, it doesn't show it on this actual chart. Let me see if they actually fixed it. But yeah, it was the craziest thing. I mean, it went basically from 4,000 all the way up to $6,800. But last time I did look on their actual website, it didn't indicate that on the chart. Let's see if this thing ever loads. But we got about 15 minutes on this live stream. So if you have any questions, definitely ask them, and I'd be happy to answer them for you while this chart is trying to load. And if you're just recently joining this live stream, welcome, and thank you for finding us. And don't forget to click on that subscribe button, as well as the post notification, so that you're notified when kind of a spur of the moment live stream happens. Because today's Tuesday, it's not a day to do a live stream, but I had to make up for yesterday's. Yeah, rubber dub dub, exactly. Yeah, BCC is Bitcoin Cash on Bittrex, BCH everywhere else. But you also got to remember too, BCC is also a Bitcoin Core. I'm sorry, BitConnect. So you got to be very careful of that as well too. And I don't think they're listed on any exchange, so I haven't seen BitConnect listed on any exchange. But if they do get listed, yeah, you definitely want to be careful of that. ARK, what is up? I don't think this BCC chart's going to load. SEQ is being pumped right now. Or at least, is that what they announced, that they were pumping? Let's see what this does. Let's see, 13 and 19 cents. Yeah, the only thing you got to be careful about too with Bittrex is the chart. The chart is completely off. I mean, we're seeing that the current price on the chart is 44,600 Satoshis, but the actual price right now is 3,697 Satoshis. So you got to be very careful of that. Yeah, the chart definitely tends to lag. Yeah, so these are 1 minute candlesticks now. So we'll see, how high they send this up, or if they decide to dump it. Nobody's buying into this though, at least not yet. Yeah, I mean, even on the 1 minute chart, it's not bad yet. But that's because my chart is actually not not cooperating with the actual price. But yeah, high of 46.97. Right now it's about 3,600. So off by 1,000 Satoshis. Oh yeah, now I see it. Now that I hit refresh, I see it. Yeah, that's pretty ugly. That's pretty bad. And it's the people that are part of this pump and dump, the sheeps, that just got burned on that. Fast move, failed move. Yeah, and if you can't, hit buy and then hit sell, I mean, really, you can't even do limit buys and limit sells on this. You just gotta. I mean, I don't recommend getting in these pump and dumps because probably 99% of the time you end up losing. You just won't be fast enough to react to it unless you had a limit sell order in the book, after you bought it, and it makes a crazy run up and breaks through that sell that you had in the book. But yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes of pushing it up, 2 minutes of, well, not even 2 minutes yet, of bringing it back down to even below where she started out, or just about to where she started out. Are there any good dips I'm looking at? Justin, good morning and welcome. If it is morning where you are, I'm sticking to the core. I'm sticking to OMG to see if OMG, $9 is actually pretty good for OMG. If you can catch it at 9, that's pretty good. ETC, in the 10 range is kind of what I'm looking for. Those are really no, I'm sorry, yes, ETC. Those are really the dips that I'm kind of waiting for, especially OMG. I'm kind of waiting for a dip on OMG. Neo, I still have. Really, I haven't added anything to my position at all. I mean, I had OMG and sold it at the high of 1350 that I purchased at 9. And then I sold, or I had Litecoin at 50 and then sold it at 55. And that's really all the trades that I've actually taken. Yeah, this is pretty ugly. This is pretty ugly. And that's why, you don't really get involved in these pump and dumps unless you already had a position in this, unless you saw this thing. Let's take a look at the 1 day. And actually, really, this didn't get beat down, for them to be pumping this. I would expect this to kind of get beat down and kind of level out. And then once it levels out, it gives them time to accumulate. I mean, they were accumulating at a very high price if this is a coordinated pump and dump. Orca, let's see. You want to trade on the 4-hour time frame? Does it make sense to trade alts against USD? I only trade against USD. I don't really trade, from alt to BTC. Sometimes it works out great if you do, especially if you lock in some profit on the altcoin and you get into BTC and BTC is going up. That is great. That's a great strategy. But if BTC is going down, then you're going to be giving up some of your profit, unfortunately. Unless it turns around, it dips a little bit and then turns back around. But anybody that went from alt to BTC, in the 4,500 range, before the crazy dip below 3,000, yeah, that's not good. You gave up majority of your profits, if not all of it. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that trade alts, versus BTC and vice versa. If you stick to one strategy, I mean, if you pick one strategy, stick to that strategy as best as you can. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with trading alts to BTC. I just feel comfortable, trading alt or trading cryptocurrency to USD. Because if I'm not in front of my computer all the time watching this thing, which I'm not, then I would give up a lot of my profit. But yeah, it's tough, especially if you're dealing with an exchange, that only does BTC alts to BTC. and they don't have USDT. If they have USDT, then yeah, you're somewhat safe. But USDT still an altcoin. I can't believe people are still buying this, especially if they see this thing going up and then crashing back down. I would be like, all right, you know what? No way. I'm not buying this thing. It didn't go up and stabilize, possibly have a second leg push up to the upside. This completely broke down to where she came from. Violet, let's see. And I did answer this question a while back. I forget who asked me, but that's a very good question. That you've noticed quite a few cryptocurrencies seem to have a dip during midweek or midway through the month, 15th or 16th consistently. SE, good morning. Welcome, by the way. And, the logic that I would put that, in is there's a lot of traders out there that rely on, cryptocurrency or rely on the profit that they're making in order to sustain their living, to pay their rent, to put food on the table, to, take care of their kids, take care of their family, things like that. That is their job. That's their job, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, whatever it might be. So they have to lock in profit unless they have capital, sitting on the sideline to be able to, pay for their expenses. They need capital, they need the money. So if they're just investing in cryptocurrencies and locking in profits and then buying back on the dip and then selling, at a nice profit, towards the end of the month, they are going to need capital in order to sustain their living, pay their rent, things like that. So, you can see a lot of people probably pulling money out, especially if they're in the profit, to be able to pay their bill. Now, I would never recommend that you're trading with money that you need. Don't do it. This market could turn against you, and then, you're down 40, 50, maybe 60%. So a lot of people could be locking in profits, taking money out just to be able to pay their rent and to sustain their living. That's really the only thing that I can think of. You bought back into SEQ. Oh, man. Well, hopefully, if you bought back here, hopefully it gets back up and that it just doesn't break down, back down to the 3,250 and just flat lines like it's done here. As we can see, there was no volume, in the past. So, if it is pump and dump, it's short-lived pump and dump, no really good fundamental reasons to back this type of push. So yeah, I would just be very careful. All right, guys, we got about 2 more minutes left. So if you have any questions, throw them at me. But let's just go ahead and do a recap of exactly what's going on. SAN, I don't know what's going on with SAN. For it to be up 21%, to be honest with you, considering the overall market, especially on Bitfinex, it's not even up in double digits. So for it to be up 21%, something's got to be going on, that it's being held up. And that's really what's happening. It's being held up. It's not coming back down to a level where, under 30 cents. So it hasn't broken out above 40 cents yet. But for it to really maintain that 37, that's pretty impressive. So something's got to be going on with it. Volume 5,000, but it could be because of margin being activated on it. So hopefully, shorts have piled in, and then they'll be hopefully covering to send this thing up to really the 50 cent range. And that's where I would like to see SAN kind of get up to 50 cent range. But volume is looking pretty good at 5 million, which normally volume is like, under 2 million, normally from what I've seen. But this is being held up for some apparent reason, and I don't know what the reason is behind it. But yeah, this thing should have come back down to below 30 cents or maintain 30 cents, not 37 cents. Neo. So I'm still in that position on Neo, and I think I have a sell order at 30 cents. I'm sorry, 30 cents, 30 bucks. 30 bucks is a resistance. So I'll be holding that until, it gets up to 30 cents. Now, one thing I should have done was, add it to that position at 13 bucks. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 13 bucks is what it got down to. So, if anybody really didn't fear Neo, and they took advantage of buying it in the 14, possibly 15 range, you're sitting pretty well. But with the uncertainty, there was no way that I was going to touch it, not knowing what was going to happen. I was content hoping, holding the 12 that I had, but not to add on to a possible losing trade, because really we don't know what's going to happen with NEO in China. You need a good ICO. I don't know, man. I don't touch ICOs. I stay away from them. Rocky Mountain, good morning. Yeah, 2 minutes, buddy. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Dubai Review sold at 4,000 and brought back at, 4,000 Satoshis, and you brought back at 3,450 Satoshis. So all good. You know what? Lock in those profits, man. If they present themselves on a pump and dump, lock in those profits. Because really, by the price action, it's a pump and dump. There's really nothing that's sustaining that type of move. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for joining. Definitely be careful with your trades. Keep an eye out on, the possible retracement. If you want to be safe, put in a low ball buy offer. Those are probably the areas that I would personally look at. But any bad news that comes out of China will send this market tumbling, unfortunately. So thank you so much for joining. Any new viewers that we have, thank you for finding us. It's a pleasure to have you. If you haven't done so already, make sure you click on that subscribe button as well as the post notification, and stay connected with us on Steemit, Twitter, as well as Facebook. And don't forget to sign up for our mailing list. You can do that by going to CryptoTradersRoom.com. And there are links at the bottom of this video. All we ask is that you fill out a brief questionnaire and just answer them the best way that you can and answer them truthfully. And then, we'll get the questionnaire, and we'll be sending out invites to our general chat room. Let me see. I'll probably get to 1 or 2 questions before ending this live stream. Rubber Dub Dub, thank you for joining, by the way, man. Just wanted to mention that SEQ pump was to give an idea of what it looks like if someone hadn't seen one before. It was done by a group that specializes in Bittrex. Yeah, there are a lot of groups out there that will specialize, or run a pump and dump out of Bittrex. So yeah, you got to be very careful of that. It's happened before where they said they were pumping 3 coins on Bittrex at 11 a.m. on a Saturday, and it started at like 9:30. They started early, before they even announced, what they were pumping. They already started it. Yeah, and that's a great way to see it, Rubber Dub Dub, is to really not participate in it in the sense that, you're buying what they're telling you to buy. Because more likely you're going to end up losing money. Yes, you might make a little bit of money here and there, but continuously doing that, it's going to come back to haunt you. But joining that pump and dump, so you know exactly, what exchange they're pumping. And then, of course, whatever time they say they're going to be pumping, they'll release the name of the coin just so you have an idea and you don't get trapped in it. And if you already have established a position in that, coin from previously, then hey, you know what? This is great. I've been in this position for about a month and a half. I've been patient. I've been holding. Now they're pumping the coin that I have. I'm going to go ahead and get out with a profit. Siphonix, not a problem, buddy. Do I do a stream tomorrow? Yes. So streams are, normally Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Those are the days that I do stream. But if I end up missing a day, like I missed on Monday, unfortunately, I'll do my best to make up for it the next day. I was going to actually try to make up for it, late that night, but it was too late for me to do a live stream, and I was just mentally drained. So it wouldn't have been a good live stream at all. But yeah, not a problem. Orca, thank you for joining. Siphonix 3000, Rubber Dub Dub. Logan's Run, it's great to see you again on here. Yeah, let's touch base on one of these days, Logan. Shoot me an email or something. It'd be great to talk to you, bud. Siphonix 3000, Rocky Mountain. I don't think Oni's on this today. Dubai Review. Thank you guys so much for joining. Violet. Great questions you guys are asking too, and please keep the questions coming. I have no issues answering them at all the best way that I can, and if I can't answer them, I'll tell you that I can't answer them. Maximus Blue, Skytech, thank you guys for joining. Enjoy your day. Until tomorrow. This is Crypto Trader in CryptoTraders Room, place where we eat, drink, sleep, dream, trade, and invest in digital currencies. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk soon.